So all in all, we're using departments of software engineering on Internet Explorer, MSN, and one more other software as well. And that could be another website as well. So it's pretty much looking at that detail. And excuse the smoke that I have. It's just a little tobacco stick. We used this in 1997 from old times back when in 1840 at the time. It's pretty much looking at Jamestown, um, river river views at the time. You're dealing with Boston and Rhode Island, and all those states all in one county of a colony. It's pretty much where you're using a more landscape base of Delta and a couple of other details. Other than that, I wanted to describe the language of different details within EcoHerb and PMC2 squared and EcoLeaf as you get more prescribed as to knowing what produces EcoLeaf and what gives it a good promotion of detail, knowing that it's from the occupation and position that it's from. So it's pretty much looking at software data like ATT Fiber, T-Mobile, ATT Fiber, T-Mobile, and there was one more other. I can't get that one either. So, it's pretty much where we're looking at different details within 971 different characters of Chronicles of Narnia, Polar Express, and one more other book as well. So, it's pretty much where we're using, a multi-platform of categories within 371 different locations that have those types of subscriptions subscribed to it. And, it's using the average day Sam's or the average day restaurant depot depositions of, knowing coordinates and locations of areas and atmospheres at the time. So, it's just using EcoHerb 747 to keep more health science rising, and being able to use more inquiry within the science of math in 40 hours to 30 hours to 390 hours as we speak. So that's just being able to start with AccuWeather, and being able to start with AccuWeather on a 9:07:47 p.m. Schedule, and looking at it for at least 4 or 5 nights, and understanding more about the weather of the local area of today. It's looking at 27 to 95, 2027 to 2095 as we get more embedded with the future investments after seventh grade, and get more in influenced by the future investments by junior year in college. So, it's pretty much as you learn more adaptability, as I choose to learn in my way of learning my education instead of going in a more present vision. So, basically I just chose more of a 2012 edition of lessons being learned versus going towards having an ideal character of having an ideal character of my individual independent self, just because it's not fully processed yet. Even if I graduated college, I still wouldn't process that in the amount of time just because it's a unconfigurative amount of time that configurates that. So what I do is, I go to college, and, being able to go to college, what I do is, on the software side of it, I just work with 971 dimes and transition 971 dimes like 90 times, 70 times, 17 times, and transition it throughout the state deposit, and, be able to make more of a $20 bill occur more than 247 times, 47 times. So, it's being able to collect about $3,000 in 20s. So, it's pretty much how you start more towards, having something to do for your normal day, and, understanding more about your daily response as a district manager, and, being able to understand more about the updated statistics that go on with that Comcast grid situation as well. So, that's the thing that we learned about at Catfish. I have so many different good events that represent those factors of that progressive exchange of life, whether it's from graduating from Reagan, or, just graduating from Sam Houston, or graduating from high school and graduating from Sam Houston. And, that's pretty much just being able to know more about the urban the urban architecture, the urban agriculture of today's day, whether it been from 2009 it's 2030, and, it's pretty much where you working with more of 371 coordinates being transferred to from Bryan to Smithville, or from Smithville to Brenham at that time. And, it's pretty much where you're using more of a community deposit for, the ones that we know more likely to be successful in my type of renaissance at the time. So, it's a Italy renaissance of a sort. It gives more of Indian compassions as well. So it's an Indian renaissance as well. So that's 297, 47. Countries within those populations. So, it's pretty much as you're using separation of powers everywhere around the world 742 times to create a equal equilibrium between the people and the rich, and, being able to know the 9.1 difference between, knowing somebody and, being able to have perfect health care, knowing other people would like that, so it's better if you know more of a 979 people that know more about that stuff, and, being able to know more about the 971 people that require that stuff. So, it's pretty much using Monsters Inc. of Simpsons, of Phineas and Ferb at the time. So, that's pretty much where you're using that detail and that orientation at. So other than that, you are working with 9:07:47 p.m. January 27th to November 18th. And, that's 2007 to 2027. So that's still going till today. And, being able to look at 347 semesters is pretty much what that goes through, as it's more in ninth grade going to 12th grade, and making its future, and, more likely in a high school platform to be more of a cable provider, or more into that area. A cable provider of 397 units at the time, being able to entertain the community with 397 units of entertainment, being able to create different networks of response, compared to Time Warner at the time. So, that's just using 2007 of 2027, and, being able to use that, as a throwback of 2002 to 2012, and, knowing more about 3:47 p.m., and, being able to schedule it into a channel that you see, and, that's pretty much where you're getting a whole 1801 version of acknowledged talent at the time. So, it's pretty much working on compounds and squares. So, instead of it being 390 squares, you making 393 squares. So, that's what you're getting out of that DBWL. DBWL industry cycle, and it's being able to look more into the colorific tunes of the F451 proposition and policies that you have, in that play, and it's pretty much using 1907 to 2027, as you use more of 947 semesters to promote that detail from 2008 to 2018 to 2027, being able to use more of a progressive detail that makes Liberty Mutual more different from progressive, is pretty much where you're looking at coordinates of location at the time. So, that's pretty much where you're looking at a difference of coordinate location compared to T-Mobile at the time. So, that's pretty much as you're using 397.47 dollars of promotion at the time of 19.1 subscriptions, and that's pretty much as you make 907 ounces of Azarka at the time. So, that's making 971.41% of, whether it's reduced tax, or it's whether it's reduced tax or reference tax, and being able to know more about what you can give that gives a great blessing, and it's pretty much where you're able to put out at least $50 in a 50, or in 50/50s. That's pretty much where you're using a detail where you want to be able to be treated lightly, so, that's being able to use as much circumference as you can. So, that's pretty much using 71% of 227 objective, where you can talk about that situation anytime you want in that restaurant with that objective. And, it's pretty much connected to it. Everybody knows of that type of language being spoken on Spotify. T-Mobile, and AT&T Fiber at the time. So, that's pretty much where you're using that detail. So, other than that, you're using more up to 10 minutes a week to promote more for Jiffy Lube's performance sale, and, being able to get with the 397 groups that that have a nice percentage of vehicles at the time, and being able to get something proper at the day. So, it's looking at 19.1 versus not 397.47. So, it's pretty much using 2017 with 2023 as you gain 217 semesters of